The spring anime season has finally arrived, which means it's time for me to once again rise from the ashes and fulfill my duties. Oh, you don't know who I am? Well, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aniki, and simply put, I am here to save you all from the trash that's been piling up in anime. Because it's been quite a while since I've graced you all with my presence, I think it would be the perfect time to remind you all of why I am the savior that anime needs right now. So, because a new season of anime has started once again, I think it's time for me to help you guys navigate through all the pile of garbage that's already sticking up the anime community and get to the good stuff. That's right, it's time to bring back the first episode review series in which I hunt for the best new anime that is worthy of your time. And since there is always way too many animes to watch, I will judge each anime that I review from this season by only watching the first episode. So because I'm feeling a little bit frisky today and I'm ready to unleash all the fury that has been building up from my absence, how about we start the return of this review series by taking a look at Crunchyroll's original series called Tower of God. Because as you guys know, I just love making fun of Crunchyroll. So if you haven't had the chance to watch this anime yet, the story takes place in a tower in which whoever successfully climbs all the way to the top can have whatever they desire, and we're following the journey of a girl named Rachel who wished to see the stars, and Bam, who was a boy who wanted nothing but her. I'm not gonna lie, after I finished watching the first episode, I was ready to tear apart this anime because there are so many things that I didn't like about it until I took the time to read the source material that this anime came from. If you didn't know, Tower of God was originally a popular webtoon series that you can actually read right now for free. And let me tell you, that was probably the best decision I could have made before making this review, because it actually made me like Tower of God a lot more, simply because it gave so much more context and answers that was missing from the anime. Everything that I hated about the first episode can pretty much be summed up with this one issue alone. You see, I can appreciate it when a show wants to keep some things a mystery so that it can use the important information later as a good surprise, but the first episode of Tower of God took it way too far in my opinion and left out a lot of important information that could have helped me understand the world a lot better and get me to like these characters that were introduced right away. For example, when Bam manages to enter the Tower of God and meets head-on, who is the caretaker of the tower, according to the anime, Bam is deemed as an irregular, which is not explained very well at all. In the anime, all we know is that an irregular is somebody who isn't supposed to have been able to enter the tower, but in the webcomic, it explains what exactly an irregular is so much better and makes Bam feel much more special. You see, people who climb the Tower of God are actually called regulars because they were chosen somehow to be able to do so, and according to the webcomic, irregulars, on the other hand, are rare beings that have opened the gates to the tower by themselves and usually have something very special about them. Bam, on the other hand, doesn't have anything special about him. He's just an ordinary human, which is fascinating to me if that fact was actually mentioned in the anime. I will admit that at first I didn't like Bam for many reasons, such as this anime's weird insistence on emphasizing his cuteness rather than giving more substance as to why we should even care about him or his journey, and his motivation for climbing the tower seeming very generic. I mean, if you were somebody who only watched the anime, you would think that Bam is just a simp for Rachel because it only gave a bare bones snippet of its past with her until you read the webcomic in which you learn that Rachel actually saved Bam, who was born in darkness, and that she was important to him because she taught him things like how to speak and showed him the warmth of humans and even gave him a reason to live. This is precisely when reading the webcomic became much more enjoyable to me because it put into context almost everything that I didn't like about him in the first place. I even thought his name was kind of stupid because who in the world would think that it's a good idea to name your main character after an onomatopoeia until I learned in the webcomic that his real name was actually 25th Bomb, in which Bomb is translated in Korean as either night or chestnut, and the 25th part was supposedly the day he was born. There are so many more examples of this problem that I could go on about, but what I'm trying to say is, if you really are interested in learning more about certain aspects of this story after you watch the first episode, then I think that you should definitely read the webcomic afterwards, because I think you would get so much more enjoyment in learning about certain things that are left out from the anime. As a matter of fact, I think these details that were left out could have fit into this episode just fine if it wasn't for the fact that the anime rushed through the first test for some reason 3/4 of the way in and gave a preview of the second test all in the same episode. Instead of doing this, however, I think the anime should have taken its time in actually giving us more information about the characters and making the whole episode just about the first test so that when we do see Bam being able to pass it, the impact of witnessing how much he cares about seeing Rachel again would have been so much greater. Although I could argue that even after learning all these things about Bam, that he is still the same boring and hopelessly cute protagonist that we've seen many times before in other animes. The pacing for this episode really was sloppy and didn't help at all with getting us to properly connect with these characters. Right now, I'm very conflicted with how I want to rate this first episode because even though the anime did a really bad job in translating important story aspects from the webcomic, there's obviously a lot more to the story than meets the eye that makes me curious about what's going to happen next. However, because it took me having to go somewhere else in order for me to get excited about the story, and I ended up just getting frustrated when I only watched the anime, I'm going to have to give the first episode of Tower of God a 6 out of 10. With that said, even though I think that the first episode was above average, there are still things that I'm excited about seeing in the future that makes me want to see where this anime goes, such as finding out more about the world outside of the tower, finding out about the other tests that await Bam before he could reach Rachel, and seeing how other characters that Bam meets along the way could possibly present an interesting conflict with his goal. However, if this anime continues to make the same mistakes that were present in the first episode, then I think that I'm personally going to continue following Bam's journey to see Rachel again through the webcomic instead. If you guys enjoyed this review today and you want to show your support, then I recommend that you guys leave a like on this video and also subscribe to become an anime lover today. Let's show the world that anime is the greatest form of entertainment and that we will not put up with mediocrity anymore. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.